Hello everyone and good morning. Welcome back to game week 4 of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for the opening game of the day, which will see Leeds Dynamos take on Norwich City. Promises to be a brilliant game. 3rd versus 4th in the division. Only a point separates them in their pursuit of potential promotion to the Premiership. Go through the squads quickly. Leeds Dynamos be wearing their trademark blue and yellow kit. Their keeper in orange, comprised of number 3 Hannah Hindley, number 4 Sebastian Copeland, number 20 Reece Stewart, number 28 Amelia Chadwick, and number 34 Jack Humphreys. Their coaches Dan Rigby and Liam Chadwick. For their challengers, Norwich City, wearing yellow and green. Their goalkeeper in a pink. Jeanette Birkentow, number 3, number 4 Mike Coleman, number 6 Johan George, number 8 Henry Barnard, number 20 Hannah Murgatroyd, number 21 Jack Fulcher, and number 79 Will Hagg. Our officials are ready. The teams have been speed tested, and I'm going to bring you the action live shortly. I'll talk about how these two fared across their games yesterday, their seasons as a whole, as our central referee Megan Harley-Buller just brings the teams in to flip the coin and determine who gets kickoff. As mentioned a few moments ago, Leeds in 3rd, currently in the driving seat to secure that playoff position. For context, whoever finishes 3rd in the division will be placed in a one-off playoff fixture against whoever finishes 10th in the Premiership for one single Premiership place. We were just discussing it here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre that only 2 points separate 3rd and 7th. 7 points separate 3rd and 8th. And we've still today and game week 5 to be contested. That 3rd position could truly be anyone's. So we are ready. I'll go through the starting 4 of these two upon kickoff and bring you the action live. Thumbs up from the keepers of Leeds Dynamos and Norwich respectively, and we are underway. Amelia Chadwick with kickoff for Leeds Dynamos. Jack Humphreys on that right wing. We get Johan George trying to dribble out of danger early on. So Leeds Dynamos comprised of Hannah Hindley in goal, Amelia Chadwick in the centre. Jack Humphreys looks like he's going to be occupying this right-hand channel and wing. Sebastian Copeland on the left. Norwich have Hannah Murgatroyd in goal, Mike Coleman in the centre, Jack Fulcher on their right, the left as you're viewing it, and Johan George the alternate wing. Mike Coleman, indirect free kick. Looking to shape up Guide it over to Fulcher, but feints, takes it to Johan George, just nicks up. Amelia Chadwick tries to dribble out of danger. Brilliant day for Leeds Dynamos yesterday. 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest before a 3-0 victory over Sale United. So 2 consecutive wins without conceding sees them take that 3rd position, which is so heavily contested. Busy day for them. Start, of course, with this game against Norwich City before an 11:35 kickoff against AFC Bournemouth Warriors and a late 4:15 fixture against West Bromwich Albion Dudley, another team very much in contention for that 3rd position, only 2 points off of Leeds Dynamos currently. So Mike Coleman down to Johan George, tries to put it in the box, but Hannah Hindley very much alert to that chance. Norwich City started Saturday's action with a 1-0 defeat against Villa Lions before a comprehensive 3-0 victory over Manchester City. Their final game of the day was against Middlesbrough, a very close 1-0 defeat. Today they face Dynamos here, and then a 5-2 kickoff against Muscle Warriors. Substitutes on the bench for both teams. Leeds Dynamos have that of Reece Stewart. Norwich have Jeanette Birkentel. Doesn't look like Henry Bernard is here, which will weaken Norwich significantly. Their top goal scorer in the league. Amelia Chadwick with the kick in. Over to Jack Humphreys. Pick off in the direction of Seb Copeland, but Jack Fulcher does well. Slight miscommunication there. Jack Humphreys lets that ball go. Humphreys down to Copeland, but a nice touch from Fulcher. Just takes it out the Leeds number 4's path. Live currently on Court B. AFC Bournemouth Warriors face Villa Rockets Lions. As you can see from that scoreline, Villa Lions already boasting a 1-0 advantage. Indirect free kick. Jack Fulcher to take. Johan George to the left of the box. Fulcher. Cleared by Humphreys. Just falls kindly to Jack Fulcher. Amelia Chadwick will try and break. Amelia Chadwick and Hannah Hindley have established one of the most impressive defensive partnerships in the National League. No doubt the foundation to their success. Coleman down the right hand wing of Norwich, trying to weave his way round. Pick off from Copeland, back to Chadwick, starting to open up a little bit, as you can see from that graphic. Amelia Chadwick top scorer amongst the Leeds Dynamos squad, closely followed by Humphreys and Copeland on 4 apiece. As mentioned, Henry Bernard, the top scorer amongst Norwich's squad with 9. Jack Fulcher on 7. Mike Coleman on 4. So being without their top goal scorer, they'll be looking, no doubt, to Jack Fulcher and Mike Coleman, potentially Johan George, to make up that deficit. Amelia Chadwick down to Jack Humphreys, flicks it into the box. Seb Copeland controls, gives possession back to Johan George. Good work from Chadwick there. Humphreys over to Copeland, returns the pass to Humphreys. Once again, miscommunication between Chadwick and Humphreys. Going to want to iron out mistakes such as that. We've had 7.5 minutes. It remains Leeds Dynamos 0, Norwich 0. That shows how close it is at the top of the division. That would take into consideration a point being secured from Norwich and Leeds Dynamos. It is a live table. Worth noting also for the teams in 4th, 5th and 6th that Middlesbrough are to play Greenbank both today and in game week 5. So there's even the potential for teams in 4th, 5th, 6th to make up the ground and even aim potentially for that automatic promotion spot in 2nd, should Middlesbrough secure wins over Greenbank today and in game week 5. The title would very much be in their hands, certainly theirs to lose. Just shows the excitement and how closely contested this division is. We bring up the table of the bottom 6 teams. It's equally as dramatic. Dudley, Warriors and Teesside, only 5 points separating them. Sale United with a buffer over the relegation zone. That table doesn't take into consideration Nottingham Forest, who are currently bottom of the league. Humphreys into the box and Seb Copeland guides it goal bound. Brilliant goal, well worked opportunity. The assist comes from Jack Humphreys, and that's exactly what Leeds would have wanted. Let's get confirmation of that finish. 10 minutes into this game. So, Leeds Dynamos 1, Norwich City 0. Just a short break in play for the goal scorer Seb Copeland to have an adjustment to his chair. It looks like we're all ready to resume things. Mike Coleman with this kick-off drives it all the way down for a goal kick. Hannah Hindley yet to have any real involvement in this first half. So Hannah Hindley to take. Amelia Chadwick the closest option, but she tries to pick out Seb Copeland on the right. Well read by Johan George. Chadwick to Copeland. Back to Chadwick. Just between the chairs of Fulcher and Humphreys. Eleven and a half minutes gone. Busy day of action here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. 7 games on Court A and Court B. So plenty more football as Johan George attempts an effort at goal. Hannah Hindley has to be alert. It's a nice example of that fantastic partnership that Hindley and Chadwick have established at the base of this Leeds Dynamos team. Next up on Court A, West Bromwich Albion Dudley take on Muscle Warriors. Another brilliant game in prospect, both on 26 points apiece, both with ambitions of Premiership promotion. Chadwick just cushions it into the side of Jack Fulcher's chair to ensure she can be engaged in the action straight away without going via one of her teammates. Pick off from Humphreys, switched from Sebastian Copeland, not before Megan Buller, our central referee, deems that a 2-on-1 in favour of Norwich City. Indirect free kick to be taken by Mike Coleman. Fairly congested in this final third. Tries to find Jack Fulcher, but a nice interception from Amelia Chadwick almost sets Sebastian Copeland away. Let's have a look at what that 1-0 scoreline does for Leeds Dynamos. As you can see, it would take them on to 31 points. Just 4 points behind Middlesbrough in second. Far from over. 14 minutes played. We've got 6 minutes left of this first half, plus any additional time added up. Humphreys trying to find Copeland on the right. 2-on-1 this time in favour of Leeds Dynamos. So Amelia Chadwick to take. Jack Humphreys the closest option. Seb Copeland the player that Chadwick opts for. Mike Coleman just controls in the box. Well left by Copeland. Hannah Murgatroyd comfortable, just letting that ball collide into the side of her chair. Copeland back to Chadwick. Risky move. Attempt once again blocked by Hannah Murgatroyd. Beyond that earlier goal from Sebastian Copeland, Leeds Dynamos haven't had too many chances. Same can very much be applied to Norwich City, but I think that's more a testament to how evenly matched the opposition is. Great battle here between Coleman and Chadwick. Hannah Hindley just has to come across. Just off of the front of Chadwick's chair. Corner ball. Probably just out of shot here in the bottom right-hand corner to be taken by Johan George. Into Coleman. High off the front bumper of Amelia Chadwick. Remains Leeds Dynamos 1. Norwich City 0. Just over 3 minutes left to be played. Coleman into the box off the back wheel of Hannah Hindley. Still 1-0 to Villa Rockets Lions on Court B. As Jeff Lewis waves his flag, I think something has come loose off one of the players' chairs. It's not deemed to be too much of an issue, so play will continue. Coleman to take. Into the box. Hannah Hindley clears. Jack Humphreys with an opportunity to break now. Does brilliantly well to keep it in play. Met eventually by Mike Coleman. So Copeland's going to have to vacate that space on the top left-hand corner to allow Humphreys to advance down that left-hand wing. Jack Humphreys just prepares himself to take this corner kick. Amelia Chadwick in support, just guided goal bound, just cushioned off that left-hand post. No real threat for Norwich City though, who win a goal kick as a result. Chadwick down to Copeland. Couldn't quite get the time in to recycle that attack. Again, almost caught in two minds as to whether to pick off that ball with his front bumper or try and swing clockwise into it. Well left by Johan George, but I think he very much assumed that was going wide of the right-hand post. Hannah Murgatroyd had to ensure it wasn't a threat to her goal. Final minute of this first half. Copeland cushioned into Chadwick, back to Copeland. 2-on-1 in favour of Norwich. Mike Coleman. All of his teammates are well marked by the Leeds Dynamo squad, but brilliantly picks out Jack Fulcher. Regulation 20 has been played. I doubt very much additional time will be bolted on. Megan Buller looks at her watch. Off the side of Johan George's chair. The Leeds Dynamos will almost certainly take this one goal advantage into the break. George down to Coleman, into the box, was going goal bound. Amelia Chadwick had to be alert, and a very late corner kick here. I said it was almost certain that Leeds Dynamos would take in that one goal advantage to the break. Opportunity here for Norwich to create something. As Megan Buller just organises the Leeds Dynamos defence to be taken by Johan George. Into the box, flicked into Coleman, couldn't quite get contact, and Seb Copeland rushed his decision there. Jack Humphreys was away on the break. Signs of frustration from the Leeds Dynamos number 4. Real let-off for Norwich, who committed all players bar Hannah Murgatroyd forward in pursuit of that equaliser. Straight out of play. Just shy of 2 minutes into additional time. The half-time whistle is blown. Leeds Dynamos 1, Norwich City 0. Join me shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 4 of the PTC Therapeutics Championship here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for the second half of this game between Leeds Dynamos and Norwich City, currently separated by a single goal from Sebastian Copeland in that first half. Just to bring up the league table, just how closely contested this whole division is. Greenbank been fairly dominant at the top of the division, 15 games played, 13-1, just one draw, one loss to their name, but plus 61 goal difference. They've got a 5-point buffer over Middlesbrough in second, but very much worth noting that they play Borough in consecutive weekends, both today and in game week 5 in June. Leeds Dynamos currently in third position. Whoever finishes third will have an opportunity to get promoted to the Premiership, but closely followed by Villa, Rockets, Lions, who are currently beating AFC Bournemouth Warriors 1-0 on Court B. Norwich City still in contention on 27. Next up on Court A, we have Dudley versus Warriors, both on 26 points apiece. Teesside still with a little bit of ground to make up, but there's no reason why, if they can't put a string of wins together, they can't force themselves into contention for potential playoffs. Sale United will be happy that they have a significant buffer on themselves and the relegation zone. AFC Bournemouth Warriors on 12 points, Manchester City on 3. Nottingham Forest did brilliant yesterday, securing their first point of the division of the season. And that single point is far from what they deserve. They have been superb, growing into the season. Bring up the top goal scorers very quickly. You can see how dominant Greenbank have been. 23 goals from Liam Ashton, 17 from Luke Kelly and 16 from Jacob Butchplatt. Absolutely clinical, and that's why they have such a dominant plus 61 goal advantage. So just the final few checks before we are back underway in the second half. Let's clear the graphics and get ready for the second half. Norwich created very little. Certainly that threatened the goal of Leeds Dynamos. There's been a number of changes in that Leeds Dynamos team, certainly tactically, not necessarily via substitutes. I'll bring you that change and alteration as we get underway. Johan George for Norwich City to take the kick-off straight down the other end of the court. So interestingly, Liam Chadwick and Dan Rigby, the coaches of Leeds Dynamos, have opted to switch it. Seb Copeland, who was the goal scorer playing on that right-hand wing in the first half, is now adorning the green designated goalkeeper jersey. Amelia Chadwick in her familiar position in the centre, dictating the tempo, the rhythm, so crucial in all that Leeds Dynamos do in defence and attack. Hannah Hindley now has an opportunity to impress in the attacking wide position. Jack Humphreys on the alternate wing, and that's a fantastic pass from Hannah Hindley in her first major involvement outfield. There's no question as to her quality, and just sometimes we don't get to see that in its entirety because Leeds Dynamos are fairly dominant. The attacking pressure that they face from the opposition isn't as much as you experience with other teams, so there's large percentages of games that Hannah Hindley or the designated goalkeeper for Leeds Dynamos will be isolated and out of the action. But really excited to see what Hindley can do in this 20-minute half. Still yet to utilise their substitute, the single substitute of Reece Stewart, who impressed thoroughly yesterday. Mike Coleman with a kick in. Jack Fulcher unopposed at the back post, but Coleman will do well to put it through the defensive wall of Leeds Dynamos, just fired into the side of Sebastian Copeland. So, second attempt to pick out one of his teammates. This time, Amelia Chadwick, the player to clear. Johan George can't quite get any purchase on that ball. Live on Court B, AFC Bournemouth Warriors trail Villa Rockets Lions by a goal to nil. That can also be found live on the WFA's YouTube. Lucas Veza O'Brien is commentating on that one live for anyone interested. So Jack Humphreys to take, Amelia Chadwick the closest player in support. Humphreys fired into the box. Hannah Murgatroyd just angles her chair to try and usher it over to Jack Fulcher on that left-hand wing. "23 minutes played. Johan George into Mike Coleman. Persistent play from the Norwich City captain. The ball is still live. Johan George and Jack Fulcher ready to pounce if the ball is to ricochet back to them. It's patient work from Amelia Chadwick. Two on one in favour of Leeds Dynamos. Seb Copeland to take the resulting indirect free kick to Humphreys. Down the line, Johan George has to readjust. Mike Coleman comes across to prevent the advancement of the Dynamos number 34. Attempt from Fulcher doesn't trouble Amelia Chadwick. Starting to open up a little bit. Hindley now takes position on this right-hand wing, the left of Leeds Dynamos. Humphreys. As mentioned in the first half, Leeds Dynamos haven't created a great deal in front of goal. I think Hannah Hindley would have liked to have seen that ball guided down this right-hand wing for her. Once again, you'll see what this win or this potential 3 points would do for Leeds Dynamos. But a nice buffer for them over Villa Rockets Lions in fourth. Amelia Chadwick to take. Down to Jack Humphreys, back to Chadwick. No real direction on that pass. No doubt is intended for Hindley, who has another attempt. Really is brilliant at generating so much power and accuracy, Hannah Hindley. Wouldn't surprise me if Dan Rigby and Liam Chadwick look to the bench shortly. Reece Stewart itching to get on. Seb Copeland into the space, met by Jack Fulcher. Flicked to Hindley. Mike Coleman cuts it out well. Just a little bit sloppy at the moment. She's just crying out for that moment of magic and that bit of quality. Nicely done from Amelia Chadwick, just trying to weave round Coleman. Humphreys now has possession on the left. Two options in support, Hindley and Chadwick. Chadwick, no doubt trying to find Hindley. Over to Humphreys, trying to reverse it into the goal. And Murgatroyd brilliantly restricts that opportunity. Maintains just that one goal deficit. So Jack Humphreys to take the resulting corner kick. Amelia Chadwick, the closest option. Into Chadwick. Guided goal bound, cleared off the line by Hannah Murgatroyd. Just ricochets kindly for Jack Humphreys. Over to Amelia Chadwick. Trying to flick it to Hannah Hindley, but good chair placement from Mike Coleman, who does well to keep it in place. Now going to try and counter for Norwich City. 10.5 minutes to be played. Into the box, off the front of the stationary Seb Copeland. Leeds Dynamos 1, Norwich City 0. Mike Coleman into the box. Guided goal bound from Johan George, who's going to have a second follow-up effort. Seb Copeland has to be alert here. Johan George is going to try and force his way over the line. And he's done exactly that. Really frustrating for Leeds Dynamos. The officials are just having a discussion on the far side. But I think it has been awarded as a goal to Norwich City. And that could change the standings significantly. Confirmation of that goal on your screens now. Let's try and get up the league table and see how that shifts things. I think that would put Leeds joint on points with Villa Rockets Lions, currently on Court B. Yeah, as you can see, certainly from the mutual perspective, it maintains that race for third position. Leeds Dynamos and Villa Rockets Lions joint on points. Norwich City now just a single point behind. Should Norwich go to score another without reply, they would take that third position for themselves, certainly ahead of their games against Muscle Warriors later today. Really is fantastic football, such a competitive division. That goal for Norwich City almost came out of absolutely nowhere. Slight complacency and lack of alertness from Sebastian Copeland and Emilian Chadwick, and Johan George was there to capitalise. Mike Coleman now trying to spearhead another attack for Norwich City. What looked almost certain to be an easy Leeds Dynamos win. It's far from that now. Seven and a half minutes to be played. Coleman. Committed players forward. Into the box, ricochets into the side of Emilia Chadwick. Johan George with possession, trying to flick it across the box. Jack Fulcher in a lot of space at that back post. Humphreys and Emilia Chadwick need to be aware of each other's movements here. Both heading into the same vicinity. Anna Hindley vacated the space, but now she has to probably switch once again if Jack Humphreys continues to approach the space in this bottom right hand corner. Mike Coleman does brilliantly well. Ricochets kindly to Jack Humphreys. Too much pace on that ball for him to keep in play. Neither side has looked to their bench in this opening game thus far. It's like a chess match. The attack cancelled out by defence. Good pick off from Humphreys. Hannah Hindley wasn't quite set to receive that. It rolls from one side of the court to the other. Leeds Dynamos come away with the kick in. Still only one goal separates Bournemouth and Villa Rockets Lions. I think that shows how competitive it is. FC Bournemouth Warriors currently 10th in the division. Villa Rockets Lions chasing promotion, currently in 5th. Had the pleasure of commentating on Nottingham Forest versus Leeds Dynamos yesterday. Two teams with very different intentions across the 23-24 campaign. And prior to that fixture, Nottingham Forest were yet to secure a single point in the division, whilst they were to go on to lose it 2-0. They were absolutely superb. Less than 5 minutes left to be played. Leeds Dynamos 1, Norwich City 1. Can one of these two teams secure all 3 points, or will they take a share of the spoils? Humphreys tries to guide it down this wing, just ricochets up. Mike Coleman, ever present in this Norwich City team. Jack Humphreys going to try and match the achievements of Johan George and forcing the ball through the defensive pair of the opposition. Mike Coleman alert, and he's just ricochets, and Jack Humphreys is appealing for that goal to be registered. I think it's the correct decision from the referee. Forced the right hand post well out of its place. There certainly was only millimetres in it. Should the post move in a passage of play such as that, it's at the referee's discretion to determine whether that ball went over the line. Sounds like full time on Court B. Villa Rockets Lions with a crucial 3 points in their pursuit of promotion. Got 3 minutes left of this one. Nothing to separate them, both in terms of scoreline and performance. They've been so similarly matched all game. Coleman, met by Jack Humphreys. Hannah Hindley hasn't quite had the involvement she would have wanted in the attacking wide position. I just think of this game, certainly across the 37 or so minutes we've had, Mike Coleman has been incredibly dominant, probably getting the better of that central battle with Amelia Chadwick, and that is far easier said than done. Amelia Chadwick, one of the leading players in the division, will no doubt be in contention for the player of the season at the conclusion of game week 5. Jack Fulcher keeps it in play, just nicks off the front of his chair, unfortunately for him, with 2 minutes left to be played. It remains 1-1. Chadwick down to Hannah Hindley, just off the front of her chair. There's signs of frustration shown across a number of these players on the court. I think Norwich City will be the happier of the two teams, but I think both have very high ambitions and will want to win any and all fixtures they contest. Fulcher off the side of Jack Humphreys' chair. That's going to be a Norwich City ball, and an opportunity now, with just over a minute left to be played, for them to do the almost unthinkable. Certainly that from 5 or 10 minutes ago, when Leeds Dynamos were comfortable with that 1-goal buffer. Jack Fulcher guides it goal bound. Amelia Chadwick has to come across to cover. You can see opposition from Villa Rockets Lions, having completed that game against FC Bournemouth Warriors, tuning in and looking over the central reservation and around the Lee Westwood Sports Centre at this result, because it could be so significant to their fate as well. Guided down the line, and just the space restricted brilliantly by Mike Coleman. But without one of their star players and top goal scorer in Henry Bernard, Norwich will be delighted with this point. Very professional performance. Didn't panic, weren't rash in their decision making, and ultimately they're very good value for that single point should they see it over the line. Had the regulation 20, so now into any additional time that Megan Buller has accrued across this second half. We had 2 minutes of additional time in the first. She just halts play here to reposition the left-hand post of Leeds Dynamos. Fulcher, an assured clearance from Amelia Chadwick. The referee looks at her watch. Probably the last passage of play we'll have in this opening game of the day. Johan George to take that signature wall of Leeds Dynamos. He finds Jack Fulcher though, can't quite get the angle, it's a little bit deeper than he would have wanted. 3 in the box, both officials, Steve Crum and Jeff Lewis, either side, waving their flags at the same time. Very synchronised from our assistant officials. And now in the dying embers, not even the dying embers, sorry, a minute and a half into additional time, indirect free kick. Norwich have the opportunity to take all 3 points. Indirect has to go via the chair of an opponent or teammate. Mike Coleman shaping up to take it to Johan George. Pick off back to Coleman on the edge. Rotated spin kick, can't get the purchase. And that will be the last action of the half. Brilliant game of football. As expected, very closely contested. Little, if anything, to separate the two. It ends Leeds Dynamos 1, Norwich City 1. Just want to bring up the league table to show the significance of that result. Leeds Dynamos still have a grasp on that third position, only on goal difference though, having 8 goals more than that of Villa Rockets Lions. Brilliant point for Norwich City. Also worth taking into consideration the games played. Leeds Dynamos with a games advantage over Villa Rockets Lions, a 2-game advantage over Norwich City, so they look probably the best value currently to secure that third place. But a win for West Bromwich Albion, Dudley certainly, looking at their goal difference, would see them regain that third spot. But thank you to all that have joined me here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Next up, scheduled for a 25 minutes past 10 kickoff, we have West Bromwich Albion Dudley versus Muscle Warriors.